You are listening to the Everything Goes podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Everything Goes podcast. My name is Gus, and we have the lovely Heidi. What's up?
The lovely, you mean my lovely?
It's been a while. What's up, Heidi?
Damn, scandalous.
Escandalosa.
I've been good, and you?
I've been good. Anyways, welcome back to the Everything Goes podcast. My name is Gus, and this is the number one podcast out here in the Valley, the San Fernando Valley. Like I said, I'm taking over LA.
Amen. Mm-hmm.
One listener at a time. And on this week's episode, you know what we're discussing, Heidi?
Yes.
Taxes.
Tax season is officially over.
As of today, it's Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? May what? I don't know what the
15.
date. May 15th. So May
16, sorry.
So tomorrow on the 17th, Monday is the last day, right?
The last day to file. Midnight.
So by the time this episode comes out, maybe like Thursday, either you'll be owing money or you have some money in the bank or
Extension.
an extension. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So now the reason we have Heidi this week here is because she works in the tax industry.
Because.
So that has been her profession and she's stepping out. So this is probably going to be your last time doing that type of work. Maybe not.
Maybe not. We'll see.
Because you're moving into the medical field, from what I know.
Coder.
Yes,
Yeah.
like I said, medical field. You're going to be working in there. So it's a little different than taxes. So
Yeah,
that's why we're having you on the show. Mm-hmm. Because there's actually two things in life that we cannot get. We're not going to be able to hold off.
Mm-hmm.
One is taxes.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is death.
Mm-hmm.
So it's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
It's coming.
It comes.
So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now.
Put me on the spot.
What does the IRS stand for?
Internal Revenue Service.
And why are they part of the... Why is it? Are they part of the government?
They're federal.
Are they federal? I don't think they're a government. It's just like
they're an agency.
They're an agency, exactly. They're an agency, but I don't think it's part of the government. They do their own thing. Just this is a fun fact. I know that for a reason. Mm-hmm. I know the IRS is not part of the. They're not part of
CIA. No, they're not.
They're not like the. They're not like the FBI. They're not like the.
No.
They're not like.
No,
CIA.
They are the investigators of taxation. That's what they are.
But they get contracted by the government to do that type of work. But they're not part of our government.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Honestly, I just found out right now when I was searching that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, why I'm going to put you on the spot again. Why is it that people dislike taxes? Why is it that they hate it? Why do some people, or I think they have like they get this wrong taste in their mouth when we talk about taxes and doing your taxes. Why do you think?
Unfortunately, I just believe in general, anything government that's regulating us, the civilians, right?
Yeah.
It's intimidating overall, and it just has a bad stigma.
The government?
Yes.
So
it's like, ooh, the government, if you're being audited, what did you do wrong? Immediately. And it's not that you did something wrong per se. It's just that it's just your turn. It's just your luck. It's like jury duty.
You know,
not many people like to go to jury duty, but they get selected over and over again. Okay,
you answered that question like I didn't think you were going to answer that question the way you did. But now
scandaloso.
No, because
¿Qué crees? I'm dumb or what?
No, the reason I say that is because when people think about taxes, like, God, why do we have to pay taxes? Why do we pay taxes? Mm-hmm. Like, they already have this bad feeling about just.
Okay, so why do we pay taxes? First and foremost, we are not taught in school, nor our parents teach us the rules and regulations of taxation. Federal and state. They don't teach us that. A lot of people live their life naive in that aspect because it's intimidating, right?
Yeah.
And then some people, they just get their W-2s, or if they're self-employed, they're 1099s or Schedule C or whatever, and they just go to a tax preparer They do their taxes, but they don't ask questions. Again, it's intimidating. There's a thing, you guys, nowadays, there's a thing. There's Google, if the tax preparer intimidates you. There's public books from the IRS website that you could download straight from the IRS website, or you could have the IRS mail them to you for free. Same thing with California. You go to ca.gov, franchise tax board. So, and I'm saying California because we are citizens here in California.
Yeah, we live.
You and I. So, there are some states within the United States that don't get taxed by their state. They only get taxed federally. Yeah. But California, it's one of those states, unfortunately, that get taxed. That us, citizens get taxed twice, federal and state.
Okay, before we get into the
But hold on, just to clear my thought, it's the lack of education. It's the lack of knowledge, the intimidation, being naive.
I was one of them. I'm still one of them. That's why I have you here.
That we don't ask questions. There's ways, you guys, for you not to pay taxes.
Okay, and we're gonna get into that.
You have to go ahead and talk with your tax preparer, or hire a one-time consultation with a CPA. CPA is a certified public accountant. And they are the ones who are gonna basically map out your gross according to your predictions that you are thinking you might make for the upcoming year or the current year you're in. And they're going to tell you, okay, you fall under this category, this and this and this and this.
Okay, hold on, because you're jumping forward. Hold up. You went too far.
Hold up, wait a minute.
We have to roll you back in.
Okay.
Now, before we went into that, I asked you why so many people have like this bad feeling about like the IRS, bad thoughts about the IRS, and you said
a bad stigma.
But is it? Because look, I'm one of those people that when I was thought about taxes, like, why do I have to pay taxes?
Yeah.
I work so hard for them. Why? So the first thing that pops into my head is maybe because I watch so much TV is back in the days where the kings have to like go around and collect taxes in the movies. I don't know if you remember like watching movies like that. They had like the king would send their soldiers to collect. That's what I remember taxes, like being forced to. So anybody, I think that's my theory. And anybody that gets forced into doing something you don't want because you feel like you've done it the right way, you're honest, hard work or whatever, and you're being forced to do something that you don't want, is why they have like the stigma, like you called it. Mm-hmm. That's my theory. And I'm going to stick with it.
Stick with it.
Because I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. Now, before you jumped like way ahead of me.
Sorry.
No, I mean, that's fine. I mean, we do. I wanted to say that we do live in Texas. I mean,
because you know how forgetful I am.
Did you hear what I just said?
Texas.
We do live in Texas, I say.
Actually, maybe.
No,
I've been telling you we should leave.
No. We live in California. So, like you said, why? Now, we're just going to get out of the way. Why is California one of the highest taxed states in the United States? Why?
I would say it's the cost of living.
Okay, you said that. Before I forget. So there is state tax and there's a federal tax. There's two types of taxes.
Correct.
So why? Why two? You just read it to me earlier.
Yes. So federal taxes you, depending on your tax bracket that you fall under, a percentage for that annual year. So that money that you're paying to the federal from your labor, it goes to federal expenses. So for example, military, I believe it's Medicare, and what was the other one? I forgot.
Well, we're talking state or federal?
Federal.
Okay, federal. It's all like anything that's federal that's government owned. Mm-hmm. I would say maybe some federal prisons.
Yes, so that's federal. And then since we're talking about California, California state taxes, the taxes that California charges you again depending on the tax bracket that you
Don't we also have city taxes too? Like LA County. LA County pays one of the highest taxes, isn't it? Like sales tax.
That's sales tax.
Okay, so what's the difference? Let's put it together. Let's put it all together. So we have federal, we got state, and we got what kind of other property? What other type of taxes do we got? We got like we said, sales tax,
property taxes.
Property taxes. What else?
Sales tax, income tax from California.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Is that it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because when we talk about taxes, we all have to put them all like everywhere. I remember I kind of told you earlier, like when I first did my taxes as a teen, I would say I was 16 years old or something like that, and I walked in to at the time I think it was Tax 29, which is down the street in Canoga Park, down on Sherman Way. And what happened is you go in there and they look at your stuff and they do it right away. They didn't even talk to me. They were like just looking at my paycheck stuff. At the time in the late 90s, I think I was getting paid like $5 an hour. And I only had made, remember I was part-time too. So I was like, what, 16 years old. And then I made $12,000, I think, or something like that. And they looked at me. They didn't even ask me what kind of form I wanted. This is the other thing. I didn't. Most people don't get educated. When you walk in there, they're like, okay, let me see your thing, blah, blah, blah. They put it all in it. And that's that. And then here, either you owe or you don't. They don't explain anything to you.
Also, when you get a job, like a teenager.
Nobody's explaining any of that.
Like they don't show you how to fill out the form, the W-4. The W-4 it's tricky because sometimes because it happened to me. I was naive and stuff. My mom never taught me all of that.
Exactly.
So I remember it says right there, how many dependents do you claim, or do you want to claim yourself? Like those questions are all tricky, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you're claiming yourself, and next thing you know, you're claiming 3 people, which is all under you. You know? So you do your income taxes, and boom, you owe money.
But see, you know that right there, it happens to a lot of us. Yeah. So imagine being a teen and you start doing your taxes on your own, and then nobody explains to you anything, and then you don't know why like certain things happen, or you're making too much, or why you owe at the end of the year, and then they tell you, oh, it's because this.
Yeah.
You put a dependent.
Yeah.
And I was exactly something.
And you're a single person. You should not be putting no dependent.
You should be putting 0, right?
Yeah. Okay, always 0. Unless you could get away with it, depending how much your income is.
I think at the time I would claim
whether
myself.
Or not you have your own properties.
Because a lot of us, I remember myself filling out that paper, even at work, and I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then when it came to dependents, I think I remember asking even the lady there at the office, what do I put here? And she's all like, oh, whatever you think.
Yeah, it's because legally, even HR, they are not allowed to tell you.
Wow.
That's something that you need to consult with somebody else, or
a tax person,
or figure it out on your own.
You see, well, that
like
sucks.
Your supervisor, your manager,
and they don't know any
HR. They are not by law allowed to tell you.
Because you could come back and sue them?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but I'm assuming.
Damn. It sucks. Now that I think about it, nobody tells you about taxes. Nobody even talks to you about taxes.
Well, nobody spoke to us about money.
Well, exactly. You know, that's...
So taxes, it's like...
Ain't that part of life now?
Yeah.
You can't get rid of. I mean, if you ever have a job...
Like, we take our kids, well, mainly me, to do the recycling. I hate doing it because it's such a pain in the butt. It's annoying. But I do it for a reason. There's a lesson to it. And it's for them to know that, they do their little labor, which is collecting their recycling. And then mommy takes them to the recycling center. They get money for it. And then, sometimes you mess around with them and you tell them, okay, I'm the IRS.
I'm going to tax your ass
I'm going to tax you.
This is how the government... taxes us. I'm gonna show you. You're gonna learn a quick lesson now, right?
Yeah.
You see your $10? Well, let me get 3 of those dollars.
Yeah. Exactly. And the boys are like, "What? That's my money and this and that."
Well, that's how taxes work.
Yeah, it does.
Unfortunately, but your parents don't teach you.
No, they don't. They don't teach us
because some parents don't know either.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't remember my dad or any of my parents ever telling me how to do something. I was always on my own. Matter of fact, the majority of us, when you go out and apply at a job, if you're young, you're not gonna have your parent next to you. If they give you the paperwork then and there at the office, what are you gonna do? You gonna take it back home, or you gonna call your dad? Hey, what's up, daddy? How do I fill this out?
Well, back then there was no cell phones.
Well, exactly. How about now?
Now it's a different generation, I think. I would guide my children.
Really?
I'm guiding my sister. I tell my sister.
But she's very educated though. She's
you know,
very.
I just did her taxes for the first time.
But see, she's lucky that she has
has me. Yeah.
She has a sister that deals in that aspect.
I had to figure things out on my own for my mom.
I think like most of us.
Mm-hmm.
The most of us have to deal with it.
Yeah.
I remember there was this one time when I made a little bit too much as a single person at the time.
Yes, you did. I remember.
And no, but this is even before you.
Oh, before me? Okay.
This isn't before you. And the lady was, I think this is the first time she's like, oh, you owe so and so. And I was like, why? Why do I owe? And she's like, oh, because you're claiming yourself. You're claiming one. You should put it in 0. And then and there, I had to go to the office, my job, whatever, and I had to redo that form. What is it? A W-2? What is it?
W-4.
W-4. Had to do a W-4 again. I redo it, and then they started taking like a month later because we used to get paid monthly, and then it was changed. But I remember I was owing money, or I wasn't getting any money back, and I was like, why am I not getting?
Yeah, and people don't know that you could change that form as many times as you want throughout the year.
Yeah, well,
sometimes to balance things out, I would tell you guys change it every 6 months. Put a 1 for 6 months, then put a 0 for 6 months, just to balance things out.
Yeah, but then at the end of the year, you're not gonna get anything.
Yes, you do.
Because I know now that I'm older. Listen, man.
So and then again, every situation is different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Okay, now I have this question. I got a couple questions for you, and these are some. I mean, if you do, no. If you don't, we'll see. Okay. Why people pay more than others? Taxes. Obviously, you said the first one. Wrong paperwork. You did it wrong. What other
scenarios?
Yeah. Do you see people paying more?
Well, what do you mean? Like they pay more taxes from their paycheck,
for instance,
or at the end of the year?
For instance, I'm gonna give you the example. A single person, like I was in my young 20s. I was working 60 hours a week, I would say. I had no kids, and we weren't living together yet.
No, we're dating.
And every year I had to pay, and it would get more and more. And there was a time I had to pay $2,000, $3,000. I was like, what the F? What's going on?
I remember you paying $3,000, $5,000.
And I remember the lady came up to me. She goes, I'm sorry, my friend. You're single. And I was like, how does that matter?
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate that tax preparer didn't guide you.
No, she did. So this is what she told me.
Oh, okay.
This is what she told me. She was like you.
Hold on. Before you say what she told you, if anybody is doing their income taxes and the tax preparer doesn't guide you for the following year to do better, you need to change that tax preparer.
So you're supposed to give advice?
Yes.
That is your job,
That
right?
is their job. Every year you need to study the law. Every year the IRS and the state that you're in changes tax laws. So, you either pay a couple $1,000 at the end of the year, or you pay maybe like $100, $200, $300 for, a consultation meeting mid-year or beginning of the year to map your finances, to see where you're at. How will you look next tax season? It's called tax planning. And again, a lot of people are not aware of that.
Now, let me go back to this, though.
So what did the lady tell you?
This is what she told me. And she guided me at that time, too, because at the time, I was working 60 hours, but I wasn't making that much. I was only making like $40,000 even. And this is what she told me. She goes...
But that was years ago.
Yeah, I was almost...
So 40 was like...
Oh, that's almost 20 years ago.
Good.
I was almost 20 years ago. And she told me, and she was all like, so this is what you got to do. First of all, you got to get like an Aflac, because that'll help you. It's non-tax deductible, something like that. So more money, I would pay that. I remember that she told me that. Second of all, you're gonna get a 401k, so you got more money going that way. Third of all, I would suggest every 2 weeks or something like that. They take, because at the time we were getting paid every 2 weeks at this job, so I was getting. She told me to deduct $25 off that, because you could do that too on your W-4. What is it?
Yeah.
On your W-4. She told me, go on your W-4, go in there, and
adjust it.
for them to take $25 every 2 weeks. Now, this is what's gonna happen at the end of the year. If you owe money, it's gonna be not that much because it was already coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't know, you're gonna get money back, because in those times I would never get money back. I was always so frustrated because I was like, I work so much and I never get money back. And I hear all these people, oh man, I got this much money back. Everybody around me was getting money back, and I wasn't. Never. I was always asking for. I had to pay some amount there, and then I had to ask for monthly installments to pay.
Yeah.
So that's on top of your bills. And I was like, fuck, man, is this even, as a single guy at the time, I thought it was unfair. I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, why can't I keep more of my money? Why is it my fault that I don't have no kids and I don't get those tax breaks? Why do they do that? Why? I mean, I have kids now, and I mean, I'm glad I get some money back now. But at the time, I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
Why, Heidi?
So that's why it's very important also for you to go to a very tax preparer that knows the taxation law really good, because there's loopholes. You know, the tax preparer works for you to help you to use the tax law to your advantage within the law.
How about if I get one of those tax preparers, like everybody has one? Like, I have that lady down the street in the corner house.
That's fine. As long as she knows her shit, then it's okay.
Some of them are self-taught, though.
And that's scary.
Because Hispanics, that's what they do. Like, hey, yo conozco somebody down the street and that she did my taxes. Or somebody knows, my tia does that too. I know you've heard that.
Yeah, that's really scary.
Because unfortunately, they know you too, and they've come to you by word of mouth. Or I have my cousin or so and so that does taxes. The good for them that's your what you do for a living at that time. But there's people that they just know how to do it, or they think.
You have to be very careful because like you said, there's a lot of people that can be self-taught.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you get audited, it's on you.
It is.
It's on you. The IRS doesn't care. The IRS is going to tell you it's on you.
Yeah.
It was your due diligence to go to a legitimate tax preparer, an enrolled agent. That's what we're known as.
Yeah.
Enrolled agent. We are enrolled with the IRS. We are insurance bond. And we have to sign off on the tax forms. If your tax preparer does not sign off on their tax forms and does not enter their tax preparer ID number, there's something wrong with that person.
No. If you get audited or you get caught with something's wrong with your
income tax,
like it happened to me,
and you could get audited and everything's fine,
and you go to the person that prepared the papers and they tell you it's not my fault, what do you do then?
First of all, as a tax preparer, I need to see what's the reason behind it.
But you have to pay now again for them to fix it. Am I right?
No, it depends.
Because you guys, I've known that H&R Block, because I've been there, and they tell you, well, look, if we do a mistake, we'll take care of it if you buy this insurance.
Yeah. It's all strategy.
And this sucks.
Yes, it does.
They're taking advantage of that shit. That's why I dislike the green people. I'm not going to... I already said it. But they have one of the worst reviews. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. They get a lot of lawsuits.
So, and that's the thing. That one of the people that I know that works there goes, yeah, we do. But, hey, what? Guess what? We have an insurance. Hey, you guys take care of it over there.
Yeah.
And they move on. And they're really expensive, those people. Now... Yeah. And you work for like the high end tax people, like
I work with the CPA.
So you work with like major businesses, people with money.
Yes.
With a lot of moolah. So it's not your typical family of
No, it's
four.
not your typical simple form.
No,
It's a lot of...
No, you said forms
Yes.
when you do your taxes. Like, why is there a short form and a long form, and what are the differences?
Short form would be like for your typical 1W2 simple that that taxpayer has no investments. That taxpayer maybe is a teenager or an 18, 19-year-old, 20 maybe, or even a college student with no investments. They don't own no homes. They have like assets. It's just their simple W2 because
because they don't have anything.
Yeah, they don't have anything. So that's your short form.
Okay, that was me then. But you know what? When you go in there, they don't ask you. They don't tell you. They just go, and because a lot of times they always rush you.
It's so unfortunate because with my experience from day one, we offer these forms, which are your kind of like a interview.
Yeah.
Semi-interview to get to know whether or not you're married, single, a widow, married filing jointly, or married filing separately, whether you have kids or not. It's like a big questionnaire. And that's how we find out more about you as the taxpayer. Yeah. So it's kind of odd to me to hear from your end that nobody explained nothing to you.
Nothing. And that's
unfortunate.
And every year I would go back to the same people. I was like, has anything changed? No, I don't think so. And they're like, okay, boom, 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 10 minutes and you're done.
That's just called laziness.
And I remember why, because I mean,
every year we have to ask you.
Nah, they already had the information in the computer.
Yes, we have the information, but life happens.
So
maybe you're not working for that company no more. You work for another one.
Yeah. So
or maybe now instead of having one job, you have two jobs. Or maybe you were unemployed the whole year. So we always have to ask you.
Now that you say unemployed people, do they pay taxes?
They do.
They do?
They do.
What happens if they don't? If they choose not to?
Then depending how much unemployment they received, then they end up owing at the end of the year.
For instance, how about like last year, for this year, you know how we did the taxes for 2020? There was a lot of people unemployed.
Yeah.
And then there's some people that, because of the stimulus, because of the like those other programs where they were giving.
So they did an what is it called? Exception? Yeah.
So what?
The pandemic.
So is that tax deductible? Like the one that the government gave you on top of your
No. That's not tax. Your stimulus is not taxed.
It's not stimulus. It's the program where you were getting your like, for instance, you get your whatever you're making for unemployment.
Anything
and
that's
then on top of that, that's why people don't want to go back to work, because you have that on top of that. And some of them are making more than they were actually making when they were working, because at the time, some people were making whatever they make and they were getting taxed on like now. They're unemployed and they're making their unemployment plus whatever they get weekly now. Is it $300 or something like that?
Yeah.
$300 is weekly. Tell me, a person that works got a lot of hours or somebody.
But that's just because of the pandemic. Because prior to the pandemic, any unemployment money that you were making, you get taxed for it. The questionnaire even asks you.
But is it?
Do you want federal taxes to be withdrawn?
Have you seen any of those people go up to like where you were working, where you were working at? Mm-hmm. Did you have anybody that was unemployed and be like, hey, I didn't make enough, or you owe money because you didn't pay your taxes as being unemployed or whatever? Did you have any cases like that?
A lot of people, they ended up owing money. But it's not necessarily because of the unemployment. It's because they took out, what is it called? Money out of their retirements.
Okay, but that's different. I was talking about like the unemployment. If anybody that you would go in there and say like, hey, this is my unemployment.
But where I was getting at is that the president, I'm not sure if it was Trump or Biden, the one that said if you take money out of your 401ks and any retirement account that you had, you won't get penalized by the 10% early distribution, they call it with the IRS. But here's the thing. That's only the exception if you were affected financially, a big hardship because of the pandemic.
What makes it a hardship?
You lost your job.
Okay.
You had a lot of medical expenses, things like that.
Okay.
So then you don't get taxed the 10%, and the IRS is giving you 3 years to pay it back.
Now, let me go back to what...
But some people didn't know those regulations, those qualifications. So they took out. And then it's like we're telling them at the end of, their taxes, by the way, you need to pay taxes on this.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? But, the IRS said that we could go ahead and take it. Yes, but you were not affected financially because of the pandemic.
Now, I want to go back to... we were talking about like being taxed at certain tax brackets because you're single.
According to your income and according to your filing status, there's a tax bracket. Yes.
Okay, wait. Being married with kids or single with kids, why so much?
Or head of household
or whatever. All those.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why the difference though? But why do they get taxed? Why wouldn't it be the same though? Just because you got kids, or just because you're married, or just because you're head of household? Why? What's
exactly?
What's the difference? Like, why? I get the having the kids part.
It's the formulas that they have. The people who invented it.
Is it fair?
I would say yes.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I don't know what to say. I mean, I call it fair because I've been there, but I know guys that are my age.
And if it's unfair to you, let's say a single guy. A single individual, go ask your tax preparer or a financial advisor the loopholes that could benefit you financially.
It's
you have to ask.
Let me.
So the number one thing they're gonna tell you straight out is get a Roth IRA or
some type of investment.
Buy property. Like, that's what they're going to tell you.
Your cousin told us that one time when she did our taxes.
I don't remember.
She did that. She's like, sorry, cousin. You have no kids. You have no properties.
Mm-hmm.
She told you that.
Yeah.
You got to start making kids. She said something like that, trying to be funny. I remember that. But going back to this, I said married and all that stuff. Now, let me give you an example about somebody being single at my age in their early 40s. And they won't do overtime because it doesn't benefit them. And I've told you these stories where they'd rather not do overtime. They're like, fuck this, I don't do overtime.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own.
And why? Because when they do overtime, if they do like 2 hours overtime, they only take back after, because you get taxed big time after starting overtime or something.
Less than half.
And to them, it's like for another extra $10 or $20 on your goddamn paycheck, because you get paid after you're on overtime.
Double.
You get taxed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So to them, it's like, why am I working so hard for an extra 2 hours a week or an extra hour, like 2 hours a day, to make $100 more at the end of the week?
Mm-hmm. Where
as for me, I got 2 kids and I'm the head of household or whatever, and we're married, and I do the same time, and I make I'm sorry to say it, where he makes $40, I make $300. Mm-hmm. Do you see the difference? So I get the frustration because I was there in my early 20s. I was there. And sometimes it's like overtime is forced on us. And what do you do then? It sucks, man. You better have a home. But as you know, in California, to have a home, God, you better make over $250,000 by yourself. I
know. California is a hard state to stay afloating.
Yeah, the cost of living here sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are just little scenarios that I give that I guess why people kind of get bothered by taxes, because they don't know why it's fair, why somebody that has kids, all that. Because I've heard these answers are like, well, you guys chose to have kids. I didn't choose. Shouldn't you guys? I be the benefit of that?
Yes,
I
for
hear
sure.
I hear that.
And I can agree to a certain extent. But at the same time, it's go find out where you could invest. Go buy a mutual, stock. Go be an investor somewhere. Go open your Roth IRA. Go consult a CPA, a financial advisor.
You know how you said that California, we live in California, and the cost of living here is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a reason why there's a lot of people leaving California, because obviously the cost of living is bad. Taxes are high. So they move to states like Texas, where taxes are way less.
Nevada,
where I think property taxes are paid by the
casinos.
Mm-hmm. Florida, there is no, what is it? State tax?
Only federal.
Look at that. That's why you see a lot of people go out there and retire over there, or they have homes out there, or because of that. Athletes, rappers, and why? Because they want to keep their money.
Mm-hmm.
They want to keep more of their money. Because if they stay here in California, you're going to get taxed big time. So I get that part. There's a reason why Joe Rogan left.
He wants to keep more of his money.
Yeah, more of his money. And I don't blame him.
Of course not.
Like I would make that amount of money and I would be able to move out of the state, I'd probably do it myself too, because I want to keep more of my money too. Who doesn't?
Well, you do say, Gus, that once you retire, you're going to be out of California.
Well, there's a lot of people that retire at where I work and they leave because...
They leave to Arizona, Nevada,
Oregon. Yes,
mm-hmm.
Exactly. Where the cost of living is a lot cheaper than living in California. I'm sorry, your money could just go further. Same thing with people that they always tell me. I have a lot of coworkers that we live in the San Fernando Valley, and yet they live out there in Palmdale. Why? Because their money goes further.
Yeah, Palmdale, Lancaster.
So I understand that.
Yeah, LA County. I mean, not LA County, but like LA, and the Valley, San Fernando Valley. It's expensive.
Yeah, nobody wants to get called out.
I think Southgate too, right?
About what?
The Southgate is very expensive. I think their sales tax is like at 10.5.
You know, I'm one of those people that don't know. I just go and shop, and the only reason I know is because you're the one that tells me, "Oh, state tax here," and
well, because I get alerts.
You tell me, "Oh, the sales tax out here in Ventura is different, or so and so is different over here." You're the one that always says those things, and I just pay, and when you see the tax, you know that's the other thing. A lot of people when you pay for something, you're just like, you don't even look at how much you get taxed. I don't know if you noticed that. Or am I wrong?
No, you're right.
There's a lot of people that just pay. Oh, it's so and so much. Okay, you just pay it, and that's that. You're so used to it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we spoke about what I could do to pay less. And you said having kids, properties, investing.
Well, I don't want to say having kids, but yes, they do help a little bit.
Yeah.
Because people automatically think like...
So what would be the number one thing that helps people pay less then? What would it be?
I would say whatever their gross income is.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't pay less than that percent of the tax bracket you fall under.
No.
Because if you're paying less than that percentage, by the end of the year, you're going to end up owing.
No.
Versus breaking even or getting a refund.
You know, you said a tax bracket.
Remember, getting a refund is because you overpaid. It's not necessarily that the IRS is feeling in a good mood and giving you money.
I wish it was that way. Now, you said a tax bracket.
Yes.
And that's something that we talk about a lot.
Yes. There's low income, middle income, and the rich.
And okay, and remember I was talking to you that
because
you
yourself, we were doing planning for you.
Yes, and the percentage of people like I'm gonna just say it this way. I get it. Nobody wants to get paid more, and you hear it on the news.
Nobody wants to get paid more.
I mean, nobody wants to pay more, meaning taxes.
Of course.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Nobody wants to pay more taxes, especially if you're making more. Whose fault is it that you're making more? You get me? It's not my fault that I make more than a certain person. Why am I, just because I make more than you, I have to get paid? I have to pay more taxes than the average person that makes less than me or whatever. So you hear these stories, you hear about, and this is what I dislike about politics. They use that against the people to kind of fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
And in some ways it's hard to say, but you don't want to get taxed because I want to make more. Who doesn't want to make more?
Yeah.
But I don't want to pay more taxes too. Why do you think that they did something like that? Why do they have tax brackets? Now, okay, answer that question. Why? Why do you think?
Because like that, depending on your income, that's how much, unfortunately, they can tax you. And at the end of the day, that money that you get taxed goes to, whatever local.
Yeah. Now, we were looking at this tax bracket, and you told me that people that make less than 25,000, it's the low income or something like that. So they pay 8% or something like that. Can you explain that? Like the bracket up to like 200,000 or something like that?
I don't remember exactly the numbers, but I'm going to focus on what we were doing because
it was like 8% and then it was 12 and then it jumped up to like 22.
No, I think it was low income is 11%.
Okay.
I think that's where it was at. And then middle class would be anywhere from 50,000 to like 80,000.
And they're at what percent?
22%. Federal. We're talking federal because California has their own tax bracket as well.
Up to what? You said up to 80,000?
Something like that.
And then from 80,000 to 120,000, you told me
they're a little bit up.
And then so you see the trend. You see the percentages going up and up and up.
Yeah, and then when you're making a lot more than 200, 300, 400,000, 500,000, millionaire, billionaire, you're in a whole different.
You know what? But they have loopholes.
They do.
And that's the problem. They hide behind their assets.
Unfortunately,
they got real
the
good.
people that pay the price is middle class.
So we're like
always.
I don't get it. I understand that.
So the rich, they don't pay enough taxes.
Because this is what I hear. I hear that they...
You, middle class, Gus, you're paying taxes for the rich and for the poor.
What makes...
The poor doesn't pay taxes. If anything, they get government funding.
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
What makes you a middle class again? It's from 80,000 to 120?
I want to... Please don't take this literally because I don't have the tax bracket with me because every year they change.
You were looking at it with me that day.
Yeah, but I don't remember vividly exactly the numbers, but I'm estimating
it's an estimate, yeah.
Between 50 to like 85,000.
That's not middle class.
Yes. Do you give me time to Google it really quick? No?
I thought you knew.
No, I don't. There's too many numbers to memorize.
So from 8, I think you're right. From 80 to 122, it's high middle class. You told me something like that, and then anything above that is like
anything above 200. You jump in a whole different tax bracket.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem.
The middle class always pays.
So we're like in this no win zone, I guess.
Yeah,
like we're like caught in the middle. Why do people like Bezos don't pay? Like Amazon, like these big companies don't pay a lot of taxes.
Well, because they're businesses.
How do they get away with it?
Okay, so you are an individual. Jeff Bezos, he has a corporation. They're under a whole different tax law.
Yeah, but companies like FedEx, UPS, even the mail are not in the same boat with Amazon, because I don't know what Amazon does that they don't pay as much tax. That's why the president was going after Amazon and Jeff Bezos. That's what makes Jeff Bezos one of the most richest guys in the world, because he doesn't pay supposedly his fair share of taxes.
Well, he must have some really good CPAs.
No, I think it's the way it's branded his company or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. It all depends. First of all, it all depends how his business is registered. You know, what type of corporation, because there's so many, you know.
Yeah.
There's C corps, S corps, LLCs, which are limited liability partnerships. So it all. I mean, he has a really good team of CPAs, lawyers, financial advisors that get together and see within the tax law what benefits him.
It's hard to say.
You can't compare yourself to people like that.
I don't know. Maybe because I get a no. Obviously I can't. No, I wish. Maybe one day.
Yes,
One day.
yes,
If my podcast gets popping, but
it will.
if Spotify pays me $10 million a year, then I mean I won't be close either though, because Jeff Bezos is a billionaire, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like Elon Musk.
1 billion, it's like a penny to him.
To be a millionaire, you have to make like $1,000 a minute or something like that. You believe that? Like something like that. To be a millionaire, you have to make like or something. Maybe a billionaire. Maybe I read wrong. I'm not good at math, but the only thing I'm good at is looking at my checking account. Now let's go back to this real quick.
Oh, also, you guys, you could always make charitable donations, cash donations.
Well, I used to do that.
You know, to help you out.
Tax deductible. You need that tax ID, huh?
A lot of people say, "Oh, I went to Goodwill." That doesn't really help you much.
You need that tax ID. I learned that.
But not even that, because if you're single, you don't get to itemize.
How about
you fall under standard deduction?
See, what is that?
Okay, so standard deduction, it's a general, depending how you're filing, single, married, etc., etc. It's a general amount that if you exceed that number, then it saves you from paying taxes. So most homeowners, most people who have businesses and assets, they usually go with itemized, because itemized, the number, it's a lot bigger. Again, depending how you're filing. And you get away with more write-offs, tax write-offs, basically. That's what I'm trying to say.
So as a single person?
So if you're single, I would say donate cash, to whatever, nonprofit or charitable company that you want to donate to.
Let me ask you
versus
this.
going to the Red Cross or Goodwill, because that's not really helpful, I would say.
It doesn't.
Even if you donate to your church, that's cash donations. It has more value, I would say.
No, but I've gotten tax IDs. Like you get a tax ID.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's worth more to your benefit when you donate cash.
Why?
To these versus a Goodwill bag that you're estimating and you could only claim certain percent. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay. Now, how about this?
Mm-hmm.
You gave me kind of examples of what can you do to not owe so much. How about this? How about if I'm single?
Tax planning. That's the bottom line.
Like, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this, because I'm pretty sure people that are listening right now know somebody or have done something like this. Like your tia did it, or your friend did it. Claiming kids that are not yours. That was a thing.
Oh, that was way before my time.
That was a thing.
Because in my years, I haven't. Isaac is 10 years old?
Yeah.
In 10 years, I haven't seen that.
Oh, wow. But you don't know that. You just, how do you know? Like, first of all, how did they get away with it before?
I don't know.
Like, don't you need to have like a social security, like the addresses and all?
Yeah. Okay. So present time, in my years of experience, if an aunt is claiming the nephew, she has to have documentation if she gets audited by the IRS, that she has legal custody. She is the one that enrolls the child in the school. So if she gets audited, then we need to have proof from the school that she's the one who's the guardianship. So we need paper trail documentation.
And it wasn't like that before?
No, it wasn't like that before.
So before I would just come in, I got 2 kids and that's that.
Exactly.
Because this is what happened.
And then now you have to show proof that you're the head of household.
How do you do that?
Meaning that you are the main provider of that household.
So you got to have like...
So meaning nobody can help you financially. Because then you would go under a single person. Or if you're married with somebody, you know, you could still claim your niece or nephew. But head of household is there's only one income, and that's head of household. You know,
the reason I asked this question is because I've known in my life, I've seen a couple of guys that have been caught. And they were doing it for years. I'm talking about years. And they only got caught maybe like one time. And the one time I was there, it was probably like 2011, 2012, where I remember telling this guy, dude, you're claiming so-and-so because they were doing their taxes, all this much I got. Because you get a pretty, like a good amount for a kid. How much is the average time there?
Up to $1,000. People think, oh, $1,000. No. It says up to $1,000. So it could be $100, $20, up to $1,000
per kid. Okay.
Obviously.
What's the average though?
$1,000.
That's the average?
Yes.
Per kid?
Per kid.
For some reason, I thought it was like 3,000 or something.
No.
Oh, okay. So, listen. So, I've seen this happen.
And the older the child gets, the less money you get for them.
So I've seen this. I've seen this because I'm telling you, I like 2 cases for sure because I remember making fun of the person. And I remember telling this person, like, why do you do that? Dude? Like, you're going to get caught one day. Oh, no, dude, I've been doing that for my sister for so long that, we live in the same household, And when I seen him again, he was paying. He told me, you know what happened? He's like, what? I got caught. And then now you have to pay the money back plus penalty.
Exactly.
And and this is the messed up part. They don't give you a choice to pay it back. They just start deducting it out of your paycheck. So he was getting like his wage garnished. And
garnished wages.
Yeah, and they were doing that. And I was like, holy shit, dude. And he was like, yeah, I got caught, bro. And then I saw another person that got caught too. Same thing.
Well, for people that know better, I don't feel bad for them.
Yeah, because you know what? In the Hispanic community, I would see that a lot. Heidi. How did you get this time of money? He's like, oh, I claim so-and-so. Oh, yeah, I've done it for my sister for so many years. My sister has, I don't know how many kids, and I claim 2 of them.
Wow.
I'm surprised you've never heard of those stories.
I've heard of them, but I've never experienced it. Like, I never had a taxpayer come to my table and have that situation.
I have. I mean, I haven't, but I've seen it because I've
heard of it.
Because I have coworkers that come to me. I got caught for.
Yeah.
This is how much I'm paying. This is how much they deduct. And they deduct
There's
large chunks.
The situations that I've encountered have been, you know, the child or the children's parents are divorced. Therefore, they take turns 1 year yes, 1 year no to claim that child.
Yeah.
So
those are messy tax things, no?
Yes, they're very delicate.
Yeah.
Not anybody can do them.
Because I've had issues. I mean, I've spoken to a couple of my friends that are divorced, and sometimes out of pettiness or out of like something
or they have come to an agreement that, well, from my experiences that I've done taxes for, the parents of that child or the children have come to a mutual agreement that they allow the other spouse to claim them, and that's okay.
And vice versa, yeah. Or 1 year this person.
Yeah, or they trade.
But when they do that, sometimes they get out of spite. I guess again, somebody claims them back to back. Because I've seen it and I've heard some of the rants at work.
Then, if that's the case, then the IRS declines the the electronic filing.
Oh, I've seen that too.
So it doesn't get accepted.
I've seen that too. Where like the person try to be sneaking and do it, and then they have to do an investigation.
Yes.
Because then the other partner or the ex-partner does his taxes, and you didn't get it, something went wrong, and you get an email like what happened? Oh, so and so's already been claimed.
Yeah.
Now we're starting an investigation, and shit happens. Shit starts rolling from there. Then that's just crazy, man. I'm lucky I never have to do that. Otherwise, I'd be taxing your ass, Heidi. Put a tax lien on you. What's a tax lien? Again, if you don't pay your taxes, then what?
Then the IRS puts a lien on your assets.
What's a lien for those people that don't know?
It's basically saying that, for example, if you have savings accounts or you have a home,
So some type of assets then.
yes, you are not allowed to sell without them first claiming their
share.
Damn,
Yeah, gangster stuff.
But usually the IRS, they don't even worry about liens.
But so
They just garnish your shit and that's that.
So, or you decline to pay, just like what's her name, and like DMX. Then before he passed away, he was having IRS issues. There's like a lot of high price celebrities that don't like paying taxes. Like Wesley Snipes, he was in jail for quite a bit for evading tax.
Lauryn Hill,
another one. She didn't want to pay.
It's because honestly, who wants to pay, Gus?
Nobody.
But it's just something you have to do, strategize.
And they come after you for money that you owe the IRS. It sucks. I get it. Nobody want to pay. And this is a fun fact. And if you're an athlete, this is what sucks. I think this goes for artists too. And this is why you really need like you said, a real good accountant.
Yeah, CPA.
Yeah, because this is what happens
Lawyers.
This is a fun fact for those people that don't know. For instance, if you're an athlete and you live in, for instance, if you're a Laker, you pay California tax. If you play in Texas, guess what? You have to do taxes in Texas. If you play in other states, now you're doing these taxes on all these states now. I don't know if people know that, but that's how it is for professionals. That's how it is because you went in their state, you worked, and now you have to pay taxes there.
Also, for businesses or celebrities that have jobs or businesses in foreign countries. I've done taxes with foreign countries.
So what happens? Who do you owe money to there? To the foreign countries?
Yeah, they have to pay taxes
Really?
to that country.
Damn. I'd be afraid not to owe money if it's not. At least in the United States, you know you're not gonna get your ass whooped here. You just go to jail or you get your wage garnished. Over there in other countries, meaning especially if it's one of those third world countries that you don't trust or whatever, it's just a little different government. It's gonna be a little scary. It could be. It could be.
Yeah, I've done taxes for a stunt man who, they're everywhere. He would get a W-2 from here, California. Well, he's a resident of California, but he would work in New York, Louisiana, Kentucky, Florida, Nevada. So many W-2s.
And was it a hard case?
No, not really. Just a lot of W-2s.
What's the worst case? Like, what's the worst case you've done?
The worst one?
Yeah, that you're like, God damn, this dude's screwed. Or this person's screwed.
Yeah, this guy didn't consult with their CPA, who's my boss.
Yeah.
Whether or not he would be okay with withdrawing $90,000 from his IRA. He thought because the IRS announced, okay, because of the pandemic, you guys could go ahead and withdraw money from your IRAs or your retirements.
Yeah.
We won't penalize you. Well, yes, you could go ahead and do that, but these are the qualifications. And this was a gentleman who had no hardship in his wages.
Yeah,
he was in the up 200,000s. And he had no loss of income. He didn't lose a job.
Yeah.
So guess what? For being a smart ass, now you got to pay taxes on those $90,000 that you thought you were not going to.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. That's for not knowing, because you didn't qualify for that, because he wasn't
He
having
didn't qualify.
I wish I had that problem. Having too much money. That would be a problem. Having too much money. Anyways, so this is another thing with taxes that you see now on social media, and they do this a lot, and I see it a lot too. Now that I'm aware of it, there's a lot of business owners that don't own their stuff. Like the house, they put it under their expense through the
Trust account?
through the company. Their car, same thing. It's a company car now. It's tax deductible. All these things. There's all these loopholes that you see more often now. Mm-hmm. Do you get like stuff like that?
Oh yeah, a lot of.
How do they get away with that? Like how?
Well, they have a good financial advisor that works with a CPA and their attorneys.
Because I could go ahead and go get me a small little shop, and I could put all these things under a business account and business credit cards and all that shit. And at the end of the year, I mean, I have.
Yeah, but you got to make that into a corporation.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can't do those things under a sole prop.
Okay, because you see that more often now.
Yeah. Then trust accounts, like let's say you and I are like really old, semi-retired or retired already.
Yeah.
We have a trust account and we leave everything under that trust account for our kids, for our boys, right?
Yeah.
So once you and I are deceased, then everything under that trust automatically is given to our boys without any questioning, because everything is notarized. Everything is well descripted, what percent or what's what to who, you know?
Yeah.
So
this is one of the reasons I said business, and this is what they do. Mm-hmm. Because I watch a lot of these YouTube videos where these guys have shops, meaning car shops and stuff. This is what they do for a living. They have their own shop, and they're like, man, I owe this much now. This is how much I owe because this is how much I make in my business. So what I do, I go buy me this $80,000 truck under the company,
business.
under the business. And guess what? I don't have to pay those $80,000 because now I could claim that as as a business expense or something.
It's an expense, yeah.
But he uses that big ass truck for personal use.
Yeah.
You see that a lot.
And then his tax preparer depreciates it.
So, yeah, I didn't even know that shit happened, but they do that a lot. A lot of these little companies, you would think that, I go, how do they roll like that? Like, Well,
they for sure that gentleman didn't know that right off the bat.
Yeah.
For sure he was advised by his or her tax preparer or CPA.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, the tax law is there for you to read, to learn, and to use it to your best interest.
And the reason I say truck, it has to be a truck that weighs a certain amount because then it's considered a work truck. It can't just be a little pickup truck.
It's like house improvements. Many people say, oh, I got a energy saver, I don't know, refrigerator or dishwasher or washing and dryer. Yeah. Well, under the IRS clause of energy saver tax credit, not all of those things qualify. Yeah. Things that qualify are like the solar panels.
How about electric vehicles? Like
that qualifies.
How about Priuses? Do they still qualify?
Yes.
Priuses?
Teslas. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. You can't just go get a what type of car do you want? A Dodge?
What do you mean?
What's the car, that sports car that you want, Gus?
Oh, I want a Camaro.
Yeah, you can't go and buy a Camaro and be like, oh, tax deductible. No.
Yeah. You see, it's tax deductible. I mean, it can be.
Or people are like, oh, do I get tax credit for home improvements, for my fence? No, you don't.
Well, you got to ask.
It's like, no.
How about for my nails? Or like, how about if I like, for instance, I buy...
There's these tax credits called job expense. meaning that your job doesn't pay you for those.
Like my boots,
like
gloves.
your boots, your gloves, specifically job relatable, then yes.
Can I claim headphones since I use them all the time at work?
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. Yes, you could claim whatever you want to claim.
Dirty
as long
all
as
these
it's
dirty
under,
chonies that I have to.
as long as it's under the tax law qualifications. The only thing is that if it doesn't exceed your standard deduction, then it's really irrelevant.
I don't know what's irrelevant.
Like it won't benefit you of getting more of a refund or paying less of taxes.
Yeah, and
that's what I mean.
This is the other thing too that I saw. Those people that buy these big ass Mercedes wagons, I think they're like these square box SUVs. And the reason a lot of people buy those SUVs, type SUVs, because of how much they weigh, and then you could again put them underneath a business expense. Yeah. But it looks like personal. Same thing with the truck. That guy, big trucks are in now, and what he does is like, he uses it for work, but he uses it for, for leisure time too. But he be rolling in that big ass truck, and he says it himself. He's like, every other year I have to buy a new car for that reason, or every year he has to buy a car or something. He said, I'd rather have the car instead of paying $80,000 in taxes. And I never even knew that. But most people don't think like that. Shit. If I had imagine $80,000 of taxes due, fuck.
Yeah.
And then instead and they give you the options of going to buy a car instead of paying, I'd be like, let's go shopping.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Last question. Last question before the tax people come and knock on the door.
Oh my gosh, the tax people.
They're gonna be looking for you, Heidi. You're giving out our tax secrets. Do old people when they retire pay taxes? When I'm retired, Heidi, do I have to pay taxes still?
It depends.
How about if I'm retired? What do you mean depends?
Let's say you are fully retired, but yet you have investments. Let's say you have rental properties that are not under corporations.
Okay.
Then yes.
Okay, let's leave that alone then.
Because that's income.
How about this? If I have a pension, I'm collecting a pension. I'm collecting if there's a Social Security. If I'm collecting from my 401k or IRA, whatever.
No.
What? That's not tax deductible?
Yeah.
So that's tax free? Really? I'm leaving California. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. Sorry, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. We're moving to Palm.
The only thing you'll not get away with, regardless whether or not you are retired, is property taxes. Those you always have to pay. Home insurance too. Those you always have to pay.
Taxes, man.
Then from your Social Security, you have to pay your insurance, your Medicare.
It sucks, huh? It sucks. I guess there's two things you can't avoid: death and taxes. Fuckers, eh? God damn it!
Hey, blame Abraham Lincoln. He started this shit.
No, no, that shit came from fucking. I'm telling you. Then the kings back in the day.
Egypt.
I'm talking about the kings. I remember seeing the kings do that shit, sending their fucking their soldiers out there and collecting from the people.
Egypt did it
from the people, collecting heads of the people that wouldn't pay taxes. Yeah.
So here in California, our state taxes goes to like the schools, to any libraries, parks, just government funding here.
This is another thing that I saw.
Street cleaning, that's where your money goes.
This is another thing I saw that
last year, because of the whole Uber drivers.
Oh, see, that's another one.
Were they the ones protesting that they wanted to be employees versus contractors?
Well, that's why you see less of them.
Okay, so the IRS changed the law for that. So now
they were employees now.
They are, well, no, I'm talking about the tax form. Before it was a 1099 form. Now it's a 1099 NEC, non-employee compensation, sorry. So then it just states that it just makes it very simple for you to understand that when you are a non-employee, meaning you get no benefits from that company that you work for, everything falls on you. It's like you have your own business, right?
Yeah.
You are responsible out of that income that you get weekly or monthly or whatever. You are responsible paying taxes versus when you are an employee, you get taxes withdrawn from your pay stubs, from your paychecks, and your employer pays that tax too. So that's why people are able to qualify for unemployment because of all that. A lot of people, like in the entertainment business, they get their contractors, hairdressers, nail technicians, strippers.
Have you gotten a stripper there?
No.
Damn it.
No, they're more like a middle class, high end type of customers.
Not a porn star. Have you ever got a porn star?
No.
Damn it.
No. Yeah, like if I'm gonna send them to your way.
Why not? I need to interview a porn star. Like I would interview a porn star. Do you swallow? Do you get in the eye?
Remember, my mom had tenants. Her tenants were in the adult industry.
Which tenants?
The ones that she had to take to court. You don't remember?
The ones she had to take to court,
Yeah.
or the ones we were like renting the room from?
No. At her Lassen property.
I didn't know that. When was this?
Yes, when you and I used to live in Chatsworth.
I didn't know this. Honestly, I don't.
No?
We never even spoke about that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
There were porn stars?
Yeah.
Damn it. I missed my chance to become Gus Diggler.
Such a loser, Gus. That's a sorry ass name.
Oh, and what? Long John Silver? You like that one better? Anyways, I think that'll be it.
Yeah.
Taxes or no taxes? I mean, anything you want to say before? Anything that will help the people for next year's tax?
Ask questions. Don't be intimidated.
You know what?
You know, there's this thing called Google. It has a search bar.
Really? What is it?
Type in whatever your question is.
You don't even have to just
and read it.
Just ask Google now. Remember, Google, you don't have to type it in now. You just say, hey, Google.
Oh, well, that too. Click on the little microphone and speak.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah. Get informed. Read.
There's
a lot of books out there. Read.
Now, if you don't like being taxed a lot and you live in the LA area or the California, leave. By all means, leave. I'll be right behind you. When I get paid by Spotify, I would probably I wouldn't move to Texas. That wouldn't be my thing. No, not Texas.
Where would you move to?
I would say, God, it would have to be, I wouldn't mind living in Oregon because it's very, very
green.
open. Very green, open. Yeah. They're very casual, very kickback, I would say. And God, I'd probably have a winter home there. My city away from the city.
It's not called a winter home, Gus. It's called like your
No, that would be my winter home because
vacation home.
Okay, then no, it'd be my winter home because I'd probably be there from November till March or April, maybe, which would be Vegas. Because after that, it gets super hot and I hate it. It's fucking horrible living there. It's like a fucking oven. So yeah, we're gonna leave it there. This is Gus. Thank you, Heidi, for the Everything Goes podcast.
You are welcome.
Remember, guys, if you have any questions, it's on the bio. Leave a question, leave answers, leave ratings. Remember, we are on social media. Again, let me start this over. We are on social media. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and also catch us on the Everything Goes podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere you guys listen to your podcast. That's it, guys. And thank you, Heidi, once again for your tax knowledge. I hope you guys don't go broke next year because I don't know how it's going to go when we get taxed. Are we going to get taxed for our stimulus?
Not right now.
I hope not.
I'm pretty sure.
That's it. That's it.
Adios.
And
Hasta
I'll catch you guys next
luego.
week. Peace.
Bye.